We only see those things that we focus our attention on, and that sort of mismatch between what we see and what we think we see is a really profound one that has all sorts of consequences for our daily lives. But this doesn't apply only to gorillas, obviously. If we as players are focused on what we don't have in life that we think we want or need, we could easily not see or fully enjoy and appreciate all the things right in front of us. If we focus on the fear of losing our wallet from our pocket as the roller coaster goes upside down, we could miss out on all the fun and excitement of the ride. If we focus on trying to visualize and manifest and attract what we think we want in a mate, we could miss the one right in front of us who doesn't meet those beliefs, but could actually be the one. If we focus on trying to avoid the dangers of taking risks, we could miss the most exciting opportunities of our lives. If we focus on our fear of dying, we could miss living. You get the point. Dan Simon's is a lot of fun, but I want to get back to the question, which is, if our job as players, according to Bashar, is to perceive the experiences our infinite eye creates for us, and if we don't always seem to be doing a very complete job of that, according to Dan Simon's, are there other factors involved, more than just our focus, that are influencing and affecting our perceptions, making us see the world as we need it, rather than as it actually is? It's time to introduce you to Dr. Bruce Lipton. Dr. Lipton began his scientific career as a cell biologist. He received his Ph.D. from the University of Virginia before joining the Department of Anatomy at the University of Wisconsin's School of Medicine in 1973. In 1982, Dr. Lipton began examining the principles of quantum physics and how they might be integrated into his understanding of the cell's information processing systems. And he discovered that the brain of a cell is not in the nucleus, which is what I was taught in school, but in the membrane, the outer surface or skin of the cell. His website says, his research at Stanford University's School of Medicine between 1987 and 1992 revealed that the environment, operating through the membrane, controlled the behavior and physiology of the cell. His discoveries, which ran counter to the established scientific view that life is controlled by the genes, gave rise to one of today's most important fields of study, the science of epigenetics. Many subsequent papers by other researchers have since validated his concepts and ideas. Epigenetics is to biology what quantum physics is to physics. It has turned our age-old understanding of biology upside down. Or, as I've put it many times already, the opposite of what we have always believed is true. From epigenetics, we now know our perception of the environment controls our DNA, not the other way around. We're going to watch 3 video clips from Dr. Lipton. In this first video, he's also going to give you a short perception test. So watch carefully.
So there are 3 conclusions because I don't have enough time to talk about one, but I will list them. Okay. Conclusion 1, perception, how you see life, the switch, controls behavior because that's protein. Perception controls which genes are being read and how they're being read. And the one I didn't have time for right now is the third one. Perception can rewrite the genetic code. So perception controls life. No 2 people see the world in the same way. They have different perceptions. But let's do a perception test. Okay, this is the question. The first one is a simple question because it's important because perception controls your biology. So the first, like the perception test is a simple one. Is the surface area of A greater than, equal to, or less than the surface area of B? Which is greater? B. Yeah. They're equal size squares. Not equal, but they're uniform. So I want to make a more difficult test. I will show you two surface areas that are not regular. You must, with your mind, see which is bigger. So it depends if you're in the front row or the back row, or you have glasses, or if you're well or not well, what you see. So it's a question. I'll use a map. Which has more surface area, Europe or South America? Calculate in your head the surface. The answer is South America. South America is 2 times larger than Europe. Twice as large. You could see that, right? The map is wrong. This is the Mercator map. It was made by Germans. Where did they put Germany? Deutschland is in the dead center. Isn't the equator the dead center? This map is wrong. You want to see the correct map? It's called the Peters projection map. Which is larger, South America or Europe? The point is that you learn perceptions. And sometimes your perceptions can be right, and sometimes your perceptions can be wrong. Since perception controls biology, and since they can be right or wrong, then it's more accurate to say that belief controls biology. What you believe creates your life, on the inside and on the outside.
If there was one thought I would pick out of that video to remember, it's this. Perception controls life. Sometimes your perceptions can be right, and sometimes your perceptions can be wrong. And since perceptions can be wrong, it is more accurate to say that beliefs control biology. What you believe creates your life, on the inside and on the outside. Dr. Lipton is going to use an example called the placebo effect. Placebo is normally used as a medical term, meaning a patient is given something neutral, like a sugar pill, and yet it makes them feel better. There is no chemical reason in the placebo for it to have any effect at all on the body, but it does somehow. That somehow is because the patient believes it will, and nothing else. It is the patient's belief that changes their biology and their behavior. But this placebo effect does not have to be limited to medicine or pills. In fact, it is in operation a lot of the time as we, the players, believe something, anything, is good for us that is actually neutral, and yet it makes us feel good or better. This, of course, is true for all homeopathic remedies as well. Homeopathy is still based on a belief that taking something from out there, natural though it might be, will have an effect in here. The other side of the coin, and not nearly as well known, is the nocebo effect. This is when a patient, or a player, believes something, anything, that is actually neutral is harmful to them, and it makes them feel bad or worse, when in fact there's nothing in the nocebo that can hurt them at all. Take a look.
Now, we have heard of something called the placebo effect, right? The placebo effect is when you have a very positive thought that something can heal you, even if you don't know it, but it's a sugar pill, but you believe it's the real medicine, then you can heal yourself with that. So the pill didn't heal you, it was the thought that healed you. Statistics reveal that 1/3 of all medical healings, including surgery, are the result of the placebo effect. Now, the issue is that the placebo effect is when you have positive thinking. There was a question this morning, what about negative thinking? And this is what medicine does not tell you, is that there is negative thinking, and it's called the nocebo effect. And in the same power that positive thinking can heal you, negative thinking can kill you. They're both the same effect. One is more positive, one is more negative, but the effects are exactly the same on your health. One will heal you, and the other can make you sick. If a doctor tells you you have a disease, or the doctor tells you you're going to die, and you believe the doctor because he's the professional, the belief will give you a disease and can cause you to die. So belief becomes an important part of medicine. Now, many of you have heard about the drug Prozac. Every year, billions of dollars are spent on buying Prozac. And here's a surprise, that the Prozac is no better than a sugar pill, so that it is a placebo drug. And yet the people who take it believe in the drug so much, it makes them better. So if you believe that something is good for you, it will be good. And if you believe that it's harmful for you, it will be bad. In the United States, in the South, there's a religious group called the Baptist Fundamentalists. And this one group works themselves up into a state of ecstasy, religious ecstasy. And they believe God protects them. And so they will work with snakes, poisonous snakes like rattlesnakes, and they will even get bitten by the snake, and nothing happens to them. Now look at this, though. Some of them will drink strychnine in toxic doses, and when they're in that state of belief, it does not affect them. So if you can drink toxic poison, then why do we worry so much about the toxins or the food and the air and all that? Because we have a belief that the toxins can kill us. And even on the cigarettes, on the package, it tells you this will kill you. But even though I know this, I will not drink strychnine. And why? Because my belief is not as strong as their belief. Belief is important about everything, including our health and our aging and the world that we live in. This is a picture of some beautiful women that dance in what is called the Palm Springs Follies. And I ask, what do you think is unusual about these women? They have arms, but they're in red gloves against the red, so it's hard to see. What is unusual? Their ages. To 75 years old. Aging is not in their belief because they have a passion to dance. And the passion keeps them young and alive and healthy. But most of us see other people grow old and expect that we must grow old like they do.
In both cases, the placebo and the nocebo, it is the player's belief and not the actual experience that controls their perceptions and determines their behavior. Dr. Lipton said, if you believe that something will be good for you, it will be good. And if you believe that something is harmful, it will be bad. He also said, if you can drink toxic poison, then why do we worry so much about the toxins in the food and the air and all that? Because we have a belief that the toxins can kill us. Belief is important about everything, including our health, aging, and the world we live in. In the next video, Michael Talbot, author of The Holographic Universe, also discusses the placebo effect, and at the end, the nocebo effect as well, tying it directly to Carl Pribram and quantum physics.
Pribram